In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on February 8, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Denver Nuggets versus Phoenix Suns. The Denver Nuggets and Phoenix Suns are set to face off on Saturday evening in an exciting matchup. The Nuggets come into this game fresh off a win against the Orlando Magic, while the Suns earned a hard-fought victory over the Utah Jazz in overtime. Both teams are dealing with injuries ahead of the game, as Russell Westbrook remains sidelined for the Nuggets, and Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray are listed as questionable. On the other side, the Suns are expected to be without 2 key players, Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, once again. It's important for fans to stay updated on the latest injury reports prior to tip-off, as this game could be significantly impacted by these absences. That said, the Nuggets are currently the more well-rounded team in better form, enjoying good health and more rest, having not played since Thursday. In contrast, the Suns are coming off an overtime game and are set to play their second game in as many days. Although Denver has several key injuries, they continue to perform at a high level, thanks in large part to the dominance of Nikola Jokic, who remains the best all-around player on the court. Jamal Murray, despite being plagued by minor injuries throughout the season, is currently averaging over 20 points per game. Jokic, on the other hand, continues to put up remarkable triple-double numbers. Meanwhile, Phoenix has had some struggles this season, including unsuccessful trade attempts involving stars Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, while parting ways with their disgruntled center, Jusuf Nurkic. Although the Suns have fought to stay competitive in the crowded Western Conference playoff race, they have dropped to 9th place and are only a half game ahead of the 11th place team, with only the top 10 teams qualifying for the playoffs. Despite being at home, Phoenix will be at a slight disadvantage in this game, as they are also scheduled to face off against the Utah Jazz on Friday before hosting the Nuggets the following night. This is certainly a matchup where checking the injury report before getting involved is crucial, given that the Suns are dealing with fatigue from a back-to-back game, especially one that went into overtime. If Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal are unable to suit up, the Nuggets will have a significant advantage. Denver has been playing great basketball lately, including 5 consecutive victories and 3 straight covers. Given the Nuggets' rest advantage, their solid form, and the reasonable point spread, I would lean toward Denver to win and cover the spread as favorites. So the Denver Nuggets winning and covering the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Phoenix Suns will enter this game coming off a challenging road game and a back-to-back situation. They've struggled with scoring throughout the season, and fatigue will certainly be a factor as they head into this matchup. Phoenix tends to play at a slow pace, ranking 21st in the NBA for pace of play, and they have averaged just 95 points per game against Denver in their previous matchups. The Suns are also dealing with injuries, and the possible absence of Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal only adds to their challenges. Meanwhile, the Nuggets have their own injury concerns, particularly in their shooting from beyond the arc when playing on the road. Additionally, Denver will be without one of their key contributors off the bench in Russell Westbrook, who has been a vital source of depth and production for them. However, the Suns remain one of the weakest defensive teams in the league, and Denver should be able to exploit that. Playing with efficiency on the offensive side. Looking at the previous 2 meetings between these 2 teams, both games ended up going under the total, and it's likely that we'll see the same outcome here. Phoenix's offensive struggles, combined with their slow pace of play, will keep the score down, and Denver will not score enough to push the game total over the projected number. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. New Orleans Pelicans versus Sacramento Kings. The 2024-2025 NBA season continues on Saturday, February 8th, with an exciting matchup between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings. This Western Conference battle will take place at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California, where the 2 teams will look to improve their standings. This will be the second time these teams meet this season, with the Kings emerging victorious in the first contest back in December. In that game, Sacramento managed to edge out the Pelicans with a 111-109 win while playing as 6.5-point road favorites. As of now, the Pelicans are still missing two key players, DeJounte Murray and Herbert Jones, which leaves them at a disadvantage heading into this game. Meanwhile, the Kings will come into this matchup with their full roster available and ready to play. The Pelicans are desperately seeking a win, but they have been struggling lately, as evidenced by their ongoing 7-game losing streak. Adding to their woes is the absence of some important players. On the other hand, the Kings have also been struggling, particularly after making some trade moves before the deadline. They haven't yet seen the results they were hoping for from those moves. Despite their recent struggles, the Kings have an excellent opportunity to get back on track in this game. Known for their aggressive play in the paint, Sacramento will look to take advantage of the Pelicans' poor interior defense. New Orleans has been allowing 119 points per 100 possessions, along with a high 57.5% shooting percentage from inside the arc. With this in mind, Domantas Sabonis, Sacramento's dominant big man, should be able to punish New Orleans in the same way that Nikola Jokic did in the Pelicans' previous 2 losses. Sacramento is a far superior rebounding team compared to New Orleans, and that advantage will likely be evident in this game. The Kings have made significant improvements this season, climbing into the top 10 in terms of points scored per game. They also rank in the top 10 for opponent 2-point shooting, which speaks to the strength of their defense against inside scoring. Furthermore, the Kings have continued to dominate on the offensive glass, all while taking great care of the ball. Meanwhile, the Pelicans have been struggling on both ends of the court, ranking near the bottom of the league in effective field goal percentage, with their defense being one of the worst in the NBA. While I am hesitant to lay a large number with the Sacramento Kings, especially since they've been accumulating losses and just traded away their franchise player, there's still enough talent on the team for them to make a playoff push. The Pelicans, on the other hand, have been decimated by injuries and are currently on a 7-game losing streak, with only 1 cover during that stretch. Their performance on the road has been especially poor, as they have only won 4 road games all season. The Kings, while still a work in progress, are clearly the better team compared to the Pelicans, and I believe they will secure the much-needed win at home, fueled by strong performances from players like DeRozan and Levine. If Sacramento fails to win this game comfortably at home, it would raise serious concerns about their playoff hopes. Given the Pelicans' ongoing struggles, I expect their woes to continue in this matchup, so the Sacramento Kings to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both of these teams rank in the top half of the league in terms of ball security, but the Pelicans have struggled mightily when it comes to defending the paint. However, New Orleans has excelled in other areas, such as offensive rebounding, where they are ranked in the top 10, and they also rank highly in fast break points. The Kings have been able to get to the free throw line at a rate that places them in the top half of the league, and their free throw shooting percentage is among the highest in the NBA. As I mentioned earlier, the Pelicans' defense has been a major weak point this season, and Sacramento should have no trouble surpassing the 120-point mark in this game. However, it's also important to acknowledge the Kings' defensive struggles, as they allowed a staggering 130 points to Orlando last Wednesday. When it comes to pace, the Kings are ranked 13th in the league with an average of 99.3 possessions per 48 minutes, and the Pelicans are right behind them at 99.2 possessions per 48 minutes. The over has hit in 7 of the Pelicans' last 10 games, and it's even more impressive for the Kings, who have gone over the total in 12 of their last 17 games. With both teams known for playing at a fast pace and the Pelicans' defense showing little resistance, we should expect a high-scoring affair at Golden One Center. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Utah Jazz versus Los Angeles Clippers. The Utah Jazz are currently a team in the midst of a rebuilding phase, working towards developing their roster and future potential. After making several significant roster changes at the trade deadline, this team now appears to be on track for a possible top selection in the 2025 NBA Draft, potentially securing the coveted #1 overall pick. Despite their efforts to improve, the Jazz are still in the early stages of their rebuild, and the road ahead is filled with challenges and development opportunities. On Saturday, they will face off against the Los Angeles Clippers, a team that has emerged as one of the surprise contenders in the NBA this season. Despite many experts predicting that the Clippers would be a team focused on rebuilding and possibly tanking for a better draft position, they have instead played above expectations and are well on their way to securing a playoff spot. The Utah Jazz are still dealing with several key injuries as they take on the Clippers. Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and Cody Williams are all sidelined, leaving a significant gap in the team's roster. Meanwhile, the Clippers are awaiting the debut of their newly acquired player, Bogdanovic, who will bring additional depth to their lineup once he takes the court. As the game approaches, the Clippers are expected to be heavy favorites, given that they are playing at home and have had a significant rest advantage over the Jazz. In contrast, Utah is struggling with injuries and fatigue, especially since they are coming off the tail end of a back-to-back schedule that included an overtime game. To make matters worse, the Jazz suffered a tough loss in their previous game as they mounted an impressive comeback only to have the Phoenix Suns force overtime with a last-second shot. Despite these challenges, I just witnessed the Clippers recently blow a commanding 22-point lead in mere minutes to the Pacers. During that game, the Clippers were turning the ball over repeatedly and failed to execute defensively. The Jazz, while facing their own set of problems, always play with a lot of heart and effort. So the Utah Jazz to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. When it comes to offensive production, the Clippers have struggled to score more than 112 points in each of their last 4 games. They currently rank 22nd in the league in adjusted offensive efficiency with a rating of 112 points per 100 possessions and are also 20th in the league in pace, averaging 98.1 possessions per 48 minutes. Los Angeles has leaned heavily on its defense throughout the season, and given the challenges Utah faces, I expect the Clippers to shut down their offensive efforts in this game. In their 2 previous encounters this season, the Jazz managed to score a total of 212 points against the Clippers, but they will likely face difficulty speeding up the game in this matchup. The Jazz are ranked 17th in the league in pace with an average of 99.1 possessions per 48 minutes, and without the necessary scoring firepower, they will struggle to keep up with the Clippers' defense. Given these factors, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.